Hi guys, this is the Innovative Minds tutor. In this video, we are going to work with a reduction formula. Reduction formula, it helps us or it enables us to write trigonometric ratio of any angle in terms of an acute angle, meaning that an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Without wasting time, let's get to today's video. First thing first, guys, that you need to understand is what we call a cast diagram. Let's speak about this first. Here's it's divided into 4 quadrants. Okay, it's divided into 4 quadrants. Here it's 90 degrees. Here it's 180. And here it's 270 degrees, and here it's 360 degrees. Right, in quadrant one, all functions here are positive. This is where we find 90 minus, this is where we find the functional value of 90 minus theta, as well as 360 plus theta. You need to know your functional values and where they are placed in these different quadrants. Let's look at quadrant 2. This is where we find 180 minus theta as well as 90 plus theta. Right. This is where the functional values of 180 minus theta and 90 plus theta. Remember that all functions here are positive. All functions are positive. Here, sine is positive. Here, remember, it's all student take coffee. So remember, it's the cast diagram, all student take coffee. Right, at the third quadrant, at the quadrant 3, this is where we find 180 plus theta. Right, as well as at quadrant 4, quad 4, this is where we find 360 minus theta, as well as a negative angle is located on for the quadrant. So you need to know your cast diagram. All stations to Cape Town, all student coffee take, all students take coffee, right? So we could say all students take coffee. This is where cos is positive, and this is where tan is positive. Right. At the first quadrant, all functions are value. At the second quadrant, sine is positive. At the third quadrant, tan is positive. At the fourth quadrant, it's only cos that is positive. Right. Without wasting time, let's get to today's video. Let's keep winning. Consider this. You are required to simplify. Simplify what? Consider this expression. We're given cos 180 plus theta sine 360 minus theta divided by cos 360 minus theta, as well as sine 180 minus theta. Okay. Right, let's put this into practice. Let's look at the numerator. How is cos at 180 plus theta? Remember, it's only tan that is positive, meaning the other functions are what? They are negative. So meaning that cos will be negative. What about sine at the fourth quadrant? Remember, it's only cos that is positive. So it's a home for cos, but not for sine. So meaning that sine will have a negative. It will be a negative function. So it's going to be negative sine theta. Right. Hope we're done with we are done with the numerator. Let's look at the denominator. How is cos at the fourth quadrant? It's a home for cos. Remember that cos is positive at the fourth quadrant. So that makes cos be positive. So it's positive. Right. Okay, let's look at sine 180 minus theta. That's a home for sine. Remember, sine is positive at the second quadrant, so that will be positive sine theta. We have common functions, which is we have cos and cos, so they will cancel here. So we also have sine, they will cancel. So meaning that our solution will be 1. Negative and negative, we are left with positive 1. Positive and positive, we are left with positive 1 in the denominator. 1 divided by 1, that will be 1. So that's the solution in this case. Okay, without wasting time, let's go to the second question. So this is our first, and this is, then we're going to look at the second. Consider we are given sine squared 360, let's say minus theta, minus cos 360, minus theta, as well as cos 180 plus theta. Okay, so this is what we're given. Right, let's start with the first part here. We are required to simplify. Yes, so first thing first, when you're given sine squared, you factor out. Let's open up a bigger bracket here. So we are going to have what? Sine, let me just bigger bracket only, sine 360 minus theta, bigger bracket. Okay, then we square. Right, we had first done with this, so let's put this cos 360 minus theta, as well as cos 180 plus theta. Okay, let's factor out this one. So what is sine at the fourth quadrant? Sine, it's negative. Remember, it's a home for cos only. So we're going to have negative sine. Open the bracket, negative sine, and close the bracket squared. Okay. So, how is cos at the fourth quadrant? It's a home for cos. So meaning that we are going to have positive cos. How is cos at the third quadrant? It's not a home for cos. Remember that it's only term that is positive on the third quadrant. So that will be negative cos theta. Okay, let's work it out. So from here, when you square a negative function, or we square a negative number, it will always be positive. So we are going to have sine squared theta. Here, cos times cos, that will be cos squared theta. Negative and negative, that will be positive. So we are going to, initially we're going to have a cos squared. Yes, so we're going, this is a square identity. Sine squared plus cos squared will always give us 1. So that's how you can work out the first two questions. What about when they want you to simplify, but yes, they want you to reduce using a reduction formula, but in terms of numbers. Let's see when you're given in terms of numbers. When you're given in terms of numbers, let's look at our number 3. Consider you're given sine 330 multiplied by cos 120 plus tan 225 in terms of numbers. Right. All right. Let's first thing first, we have to reduce this. Let's reduce sine 330. To reduce sine 330, 330 is closer to 360. Just say 360 minus 330. What are we getting there? We are getting 30. So in other words, 360 minus 30, it will give us 330. So in other words, we will have sine 360 minus 30. Yes, this is how you can reduce. Let's see, 360 minus 30, that will be 330. So similar approach, but 120 is closer to 180. Let's just say, let's reduct with the functional value of 180. Just say 180 minus 120. Right, that will give you 60. And just say 180 minus 60, you get 120. So in other words, 180 minus 60 gives you cos 120 then. So plus, let's go, 225. 225 subtracted by 180, that is 45. But when we say 180 plus 45, what are we getting? We get 225. So in other words, we could say 180 plus 45. Okay, 180 plus 45. Let's reduce Guys, we know our cast diagram. How is sine at the fourth quadrant? It's not a home for sine. It's a home for cos. So sine will be what? Sine will be, in other words, sine will be negative. So we're going to have negative sine 30. Okay, let's put brackets there. Okay, how is cos at the second quadrant? It's not a home for cos. Remember that our cast diagram states that all student take coffee. So you ask yourself, this is where sine is positive only, but the other functions are negative. So what are we having here? We are going to have negative. We are going to have negative cos 60. Cos is negative at the second quadrant. All right, so let's go to tan 180 plus 45. That's a third quadrant. How is tan at the third quadrant? It's a home for tan, so it will be definitely be tan 45. Positive tan 45. Right. So sine 30. Sine 30, it's a special angle. In other words, it's using your triangle, you will get negative 1 over 2. Because at times they will say simplify without the use of a calculator. So you need to write the special angles. So we are going to say negative. We're going to have negative half. Why does cos 60 similar? Cos 60, it's going to be half. So we're going to have negative half. So what about tan 45? So tan 45 is a special angle. We're going to have 1. So half. So when we are here, guys, 1 multiplied by 1, we know that will be 1. And 2 times 2, that will be 4. Right. Why positive? Negative and negative, that's positive. So we're going to have 1 over 4. Okay. Plus 1. Right. So let's simplify this. We have in LCD, 4 times 1, that will be 4. And 1 times 1, that will be 1. 4 times 1, that will be 4 there. Then what are we having there? 1 plus 4, that will be 5. So it's going to be 5 all over 4. So that's how you can simplify without the use of a calculator whenever you're asked. So remember, the summary of this video, first thing first, you need to know the reduction. Remember, reduction formula. You first have to know the cast diagram. First thing first is the cast diagram. The second part will be know how to apply, know how to simplify, right? Algebra is very important. Hope you find this video useful, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and remember, we love you.